Come along, children. Now we're going to have a little music.
What's good, gang? It's your boy RB3 here for First Cut, and I am here with a new review for Triangle of Sadness. That's right, I'm continuing the Best Picture nominee series. I've said it from the beginning of Oscar season since they announced the nominations. I was gonna go through all 10 Best Picture nominees and review them here. I mean, some of the reviews were already on the channel, so we did reviews so far for Avatar: Way of Water, Everything Everywhere All at Once. We did Banshees of Inisherin, that one with Sabrina just recently. I did solo ones for Tar and Elvis, and now I'm back with another review for Triangle of Sadness. Now, to be honest, I'm a little bit surprised I didn't review this sooner, because I actually did see this movie back in September, October when it first came out, with the sole intention of reviewing it for the channel. But I guess for some reason I just got busy during that time and slept on it. But it just came back out on Hulu, and like I said, we're doing this Best Picture series, so why not jump back into it now? And unlike some of the other Best Picture nominees, like I talked about Tar, I talked about Elvis, they're well-made movies. They're just not my cup of tea. This one also fell into the same category a little bit when I first saw it. And upon rewatch, unlike Tar, and unlike Elvis, and like a couple of the other Best Picture nominees, I actually did go back and rewatch Triangle of Sadness. I did go back and rewatch Triangle of Sadness on Hulu in preparation for this review. So this one did get a second watch. And upon the second watch, I can safely say it's still not my cup of tea, but I do understand it a lot more and see where the path was going, especially after knowing where the ending is headed. So I appreciate the showmanship and the craftsmanship of it. But yet again, it's just not my cup of tea. Triangle of Sadness is written and directed by Ruben Östlund. He is no stranger to the Academy Awards or to award attention in general. His previous film, The Square, was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film in 2017 or 2018. And that's another film that has a very subversive ending, something I can really understand. I had to personally Google what the ending to that movie really meant. And, that's something that this filmmaker is not afraid to go at, is challenging endings. And that's part of maybe my disdain for the movie when I initially watched it. The film stars Dickinson, Woody Harrelson, Dolly De Leon, and the late, great Charlbi Dean, who passed away shortly after this movie came out. Also Vicky Berlin, and a number of other talented cast members all throughout. This premiered at Cannes and won the Palme d'Or Award, which is the highest honor at the Cannes Film Festival. And people really love this movie. I mean, there's a reason why it catapulted up to Best Picture at the Oscars and Best Director in the Best Directors category. Of course, it's one of the front runners to even in the Best Original Screenplay category. So people are loving this movie. And I think it especially comes down to the themes, right? The themes of power, money, and resources, and how those play into our understanding, our conceptualization of love and romance and relationships and companionships. That's something they play on in the first half of the movie when we first get introduced to Carl and Yaya. Now, Carl is like an aspiring model. Yaya is already pretty famous. But they match up together, and they kind of have this like weird dynamic of not knowing who exactly should pay for what, who exactly is the bigger breadwinner. So it kind of plays into that theme. And once they hit on this boat, where there's a ton of other rich people and they're, just going on this cruise, we kind of start to see the rich start to show their behind a little bit. And that's where the movie starts to get really funny. The first act in the movie, which is like the first 30 minutes or so, that are mainly just Carl and Yaya, are okay. It's good. It establishes the conflict. But the second act, when they're on the boat, through that whole hour, is hilarious. Absolutely funny. Again, it's all really powered by Woody Harrelson's performance as the captain. He does an amazing performance as like this Americanized guy in this bougie, French, or I don't even necessarily know if it's French, but like this high living lifestyle that everybody else is surrounding him with. And he just like, when everybody else is like fine dining, he just wants a hamburger and French fries. He's just obsessive alcoholic, a drinker. He's not supposed to be taking his voyage because there's storms. There's like, literal weather that's getting in the way. And we start to see, as the boat's going, how the weather is messing with people's digestive systems and how they're starting to freak out. And that to me was another funny scene, seeing everybody out there throwing up. Again, that's like, it's not like the most sophisticated or smartest humor, right? Like puking, whatever. But it is funny seeing rich people do it. And I think that's why the movie has a little bit of fun with it. The whole theme of like money, power, resources, these are themes that we've seen a lot in cinema over the past few years. Right now, we live in a world where we got shows like The White Lotus or Succession. We got movies like Parasite, The Menu, Knives Out, Glass Onion, Ready or Not, all movies that kind of play into this eat the rich, anti-capitalism theme, but it's really all about the execution. Triangle of Sadness executes that theme very well, and I think that's why people enjoy it. Now, for me personally, as somebody who has watched and enjoyed and studied all of these pieces of content, very thoroughly, I will say those themes didn't feel as fresh to me. And maybe that's why I have a little bit of a distance or a little bit of a disconnect to the same like overwhelming love that a lot of the critics and apparently a lot of Academy Award voters have for this movie. Because I do feel like these themes aren't as fresh as, they think they are, or they're not as fresh as maybe other people are as interpreting them to be. Again, the comedy is gold, and seeing that these rich people kind of dealing with being in these particular situations, seeing them have to, deal with a crashing boat or, a sinking ship, all these weather disasters. And once they actually get to the island in the third act, the power dynamics that are instantly coming into play, how, the maid or the servant of the boat, who's played by Dolly De Leon, she ends up becoming the one holding a lot of the power on the island, right? And that's when the movie becomes interesting too. And again, all of it in the third act is compelling, it's thoughtful, it's interesting. All of the themes are coming to a head: manipulation, power, money, control, all coming to a head in a really satisfying way that's cooking on something I think is pretty deep. But unfortunately, it does leave you with just one of those like unsatisfying endings. And, if you've seen the film, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't want to spoil it too much, but yeah, it just ends. So yeah, it just kind of ends. And again, this is something that the director, Ruben Östlund, he's done in previous films before, ambiguous endings before that you kind of have to think about. And I appreciate thinking about, a movie like this, but I feel like I dissected the plot and I dissected the themes, and I feel like I got the general gist of what was trying to be said. I just wanted to know how the plot was going to end. Like, I just wanted to know where the actual finale of everything was going to play out to. And that part, it left me wanting. And for that, I just can't give this like my full sell, wholehearted love and ringing endorsement that, I would probably give to something like Knives Out, which I think had an amazing ending. Parasite, which had an amazing ending. Ready or Not, again, people don't look at Ready or Not as like, maybe the same kind of category as this movie, but it is that same kind of eat the rich, capitalism, the super rich are doing weird stuff. So, we, so poor people or the not rich people are kind of observing that and taking advantage of that. And that movie also had an over the top weird ending, but it still felt narratively satisfying. And this movie just did not feel narratively satisfying by the end of it. I felt satisfied by what I watched, by the characters, by the acting. Again, everybody, Harris Dickinson, sorry, excuse me. Charlbi Dean, rest in peace. Dolly De Leon, she definitely could have been in an Oscar conversation this year for her performance in this. Everybody in this film was absolutely great. The direction, the writing, it was funny. But again, I just don't know how it felt, how it just leaves me. It just left me kind of cold, left me kind of empty. So the ending leaves me kind of cold, and the rest of the film is good, but it's just not like fresh or new or anything cool. So at the end of it, I'm left with a decent, fun, cool movie at the end of Triangle of Sadness. It's not my favorite Best Picture nominee, not even close. It's not exactly my cup of tea, but it's also, I'm not also not liking this as much as, I'm not as, Tar, I wasn't like nearly a fan of. Elvis either, but I think I like Triangle of Sadness a little bit more than those movies. Also with Banshees, I think I like this a little bit more than Banshees, but I still can't say I put this in like the love category, or even maybe even the like category. It's just in it's cool, the cool category, the cool kids club. That's where Triangle of Sadness is. Anyway, y'all, that's all I got for this review of Triangle of Sadness. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. We have way more Oscar coverage coming your way. I'm still got to do reviews for Women Talking and All Quiet on the Western Front. Those are the last few that I got left. How I'm going to do those before Sunday, I'm not exactly sure, but we're going to get those done. And we're going to figure out something to do for Oscar Sunday too. We usually do a live stream. I don't know what we're going to do this year. We haven't planned that out. It's Wednesday. We should probably get planning, right? But we'll get to that and we'll let you know. With all that being said, y'all, this is your boy RB3. Make sure you subscribe to First Cut if you haven't already. And check us out on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at First Cut TMO. And follow me directly at Director RB3. Alrighty, for the First Cut, I'm peacing out, y'all. Peace.
It's either me or you. It's either me or you.